What's good? What's good, ladies and gentlemen? It's RFG. I'm back at it today, and I'm here to decode the movie known as Melancholia. Melancholia, the movie that came out July 29th of 2011. All right. Now, this was requested of me for a few months ago. But I just, conjured up the proper amount of time to do enough research on this, and I was able to find out what this Melancholia film actually represents in everyday real life. All right, very deep information here. They're putting the truth right in front of us like they always do, and this Melancholia, okay, it ties into the Nibiru hoax. This right here, this Melancholia movie, it's real. It's actually taking place in our everyday reality, but it ties into the Nibiru hoax. Now, I'm going to break down the Nibiru hoax after I break down what Melancholia really means. Right? First, I'm going to break down what Melancholia really means, and then I'm going to break down the Nibiru hoax and what that really is. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and play this trailer. I'm going to say I do not own the rights to this movie footage. Okay. I am RFG and I do not own the rights. I do not own the rights to this footage. Okay. Who does own the rights to this footage? That would be who? Denmark's radio production companies. Yeah. Okay, so this is gonna be video footage from the movie Melancholia. And this video footage is owned by these creators right here. Okay. I myself, RFG, do not own the rights to this video footage. This is copyrighted, trademark material that is owned by these creators right here. Okay. So without further ado, here you go.
Won't even bother saying how late you are.
So sorry, guys.
We're only there. That was 2 hours ago.
Toast to the bride and the groom. Justine and Mike. You look glowing today. Never seen you look so happy.
I'm thrilled about this wedding, and I know it's costing John a lot of money.
It's not about the cost. I thought you really wanted this.
But I do. What star is that? The red one.
I don't know.
What's going on, Justine?
It's a planet that has been hiding behind the sun. Now it passes by us.
I just have one thing to say. Enjoy it while it lasts. I myself hate marriages.
Gabby, please. Is everyone in your family stark raving mad?
I smile and I smile and I smile.
You're lying to all of us.
I'm not really happy.
These could have been a lot different.
Yes, Michael, they could have been.
Just forget it. Stop dreaming, Justine.
What are we excited about?
Tomorrow night.
That's right.
I'm afraid of that stupid plan.
And it is not going to hit us.
You promise?
Life is only on Earth. And not for long.
I don't think you know that at all. Sometimes I hate you so much.
Justine,
I want to do this the right way.
I'm afraid that the planet will hit us anyway.
All right. So basically, Melancholia is about a rogue. It's about a rogue giant planet that is headed towards Earth. All right, and this well-to-do family of Caucasian people It puts them, that knowledge puts them in a state of melancholia. All right. This is about a wealthy, well-to-do Caucasian family that discovers there is a giant rogue planet headed towards Earth, and that puts them in a state of melancholia. All right. Now, I'm going to break down exactly what this melancholia represents, what it means. Right. This is according to the Latin term. This is the etymology of the word. Borrowed from the ancient Greek medical term melancholia, all right, which ties with melon, which means dark, and then cholia, which is the colon, okay, in your intestines, the colon. Melon, all right, which has to do with dark substance, comes from the cholia, the colon. Blackness of the bile, all right, which means the blackness of the feces. Bile is another word for feces, dung. All right. So this word melancholia has a very deep meaning, and it was created as a definition for how the European or the Caucasian felt when the Caucasian discovered that the entire physical, this 3D universe, this universe that we're in right now, is consisted of plasma, dark matter, all right, and orgone energy, but mostly dark matter. This is an energy. This is a universe consisting of dark matter mostly, all right. And not only that, when the Caucasians and when the Nordics came to this earth and started to observe nature, they understood that everything that was natural was darker in hue. Everything that was natural to this earth was darker in color, darker in complexion. You know, so this bothered the Nordics on a psychological, mental level, because they looked at themselves and said that, you know, we are pale, you know, we can get no energy from the sunlight like everything else in nature, and everything else in nature is darker than us. That's how they perceived it when they started to observe nature on this earth. So, you know, they saw that the real bread was darker wheat bread. They saw that the real rice was dark brown rice. They saw that the real sugar was dark brown sugar. They saw that even the vanilla was dark brown. So what did they do to make the Nordics and the Caucasians feel better? They started to put chemicals and artificial substances in these natural substances, and it turned the vanilla, you know, pale. It gave the vanilla a pale color. You see what I'm saying? And they did the same thing to the sugar. You see, they put the bleach and the chemicals in the sugar to turn it pale. Then they did the same thing to the dark rice. They turned it pale. Then they did the same thing to the bread to turn it pale. And this was all to psychologically make the Caucasians feel better about themselves, and somehow putting a lie in their head, all right, to make themselves feel better about being pale. And as crazy as this sounds, this is the cold, hard, unbiased truth, all right? All right, and that's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to get on this channel. You see, they also took note of the Caucasoids and the Nordics also took note of that the purest soil on the earth is completely dark brown. All right, and when they went to the bathroom and you know, they defecated, you know, they took a number two, and their feces came out dark brown. You see what I'm saying? Just like the soil of the earth. So when the Nordics observed all of that, that basically told them in a nutshell that this world, that this, this dimension, this entire universe does not belong to them. All right. You see, and when they noticed that their feces was of the same color as the earth's soil, that told them that a piece of them comes from the darkness, but they themselves are not that darkness. They're not that. They don't originate from that darkness. You see what I'm saying? So it was pretty much a mind fuck for them, for the original Nordics that came on this earth. They realized that they were not organic to this earth. They didn't really belong here. So they tried to change and manipulate nature to make them feel better. You see? So they change the natural brown wheat bread and bleach it and turn it pale. They take the natural brown rice from the earth, they bleach it and turn it pale. They do the same thing to the brown sugar, the natural brown sugar, and turn it pale. They do the same thing to the natural brown vanilla and turn it pale. They notice that the natural people of the earth are darker in hue. You see what I'm saying? And this, what did this do to the so-called, the paler people of the earth, the Caucasoids and the Nordics? This caused them to feel melancholia. Now, what do they want you to think melancholia means? Right here, deep sadness and gloom. This is what this caused. This knowledge. This is what it caused. This is what it caused the Caucasian. All right, deep sadness and gloom. When they found out, the real bread, the rice, sugar, everything in nature, even the vanilla, the jungle soil, and even their feces came out to be dark brown, which is proof, that they had to be spliced with melanated DNA to come into existence. You see, and when they found out the universe consists most of dark matter. You see what I'm saying? When they found all of this out, all right, this caused them to become very sad, deep sadness and gloom. You see, when they understood that their genetics would not last on this earth forever at all. Okay, when the Caucasoid and the Nordic fully grasped that their genetics would not last forever on this earth, it caused them to feel deep sadness and gloom, which they call melancholy. All right, melancholy, which the prefix is MEALAN, the same prefix as melanin. The same prefix as melanin, all right? And then you have cholia, which is colon, the stomach. All right, the deep darkness. When they understood that their genetics were spliced from beings that didn't come from this universe and some of the melanated people on this earth. You see, that's the melon, and then the cholia, okay, the darkness of the colon as well. All right, and it ties back to even their feces is the same color as the soil of the earth. You see what I'm saying? So that psychologically, I know it sounds crazy, but it's the truth. On a psychological level, that did a lot of damage. That did a lot of damage to the Caucasoids and the Nordic psyche. You see, when they understood that the universe consists of mostly dark matter, when they understood that the original beings on the earth were darker in skin complexion, when they understood that the most pure soil on the earth is the darkest of the brown, and even fecal matter, all right, matches this in substance, as long as you're on a vegetarian diet, all right, even the vanilla, dark brown. All right, sugar, rice, wheat, all dark brown. This psychologically, gave the Caucasoids discomfort, psychological discomfort. You see, and that's basically the history of the word melancholia in a nutshell. So now that we have the history of the word melancholia broken down, right now we're going to touch on the actual film. Okay, we're going to touch on the actual film here. All right, so the film begins with an introductory sequence involving the main characters and images of space. Okay, we're gonna get into part one here. All right. Now, this right here is gonna be deep as hell because the exact actions or the exact scenes in this movie is not what I experienced in my personal life, but at the end, I'll say at the end of this paragraph, this is exactly what I experienced in the last year. At the end of this paragraph, all right? So here we go. Delayed by their stretch limousines, difficulty traversing the narrow winding rural, let me repeat that. Delayed by their stretch limousines, difficulty traversing the narrow winding rural road, newlyweds Justine and Michael arrived 2 hours late for their own wedding reception at the estate of Justine's career Claire and her husband John. Upon their arrival, Justine takes note of a brightly shining red star in the sky. John explains it is the star Antares in the constellation Scorpius. Justine has a dysfunctional family. Brother-in-law John constantly complains about having to pay for the wedding despite being very well off. Father Dexter is hedonistic and selfish to the point of narcissism, while Mother Gabby is brutally jaded, openly declaring her hatred of marriages during her wedding speech. No one ever asks what Justine wants or why she is unhappy, but throughout the dinner she is praised for being beautiful. Claire urges Justine to hide her debilitating melancholy from her new husband, Michael. Justine finds several excuses to flee the wedding reception and wander the estate by herself. At one point, while the guests stand around waiting for the cutting of the cake, Justine and Gabby independently escape to take baths. Michael is pressured to give a speech at one point, but it is very dispassionate and vapid. He attempts to consummate his marriage with Justine despite her being clearly non-receptive, even ignoring her at one point when she asks if they can simply sit together for a while, causing her to flee in frustration. Claire tells Justine she is lying to everyone, while John aggressively reminds Justine how much the wedding costs and tells her she better be fucking happy. Justine's boss, Jack, is ruthless and greedy during his wedding speech. He's hustling Justine to meet a work deadline. He pushes her throughout the evening to create a tagline to promote a new campaign. Her boss's nephew, Tim, is given the chance to exploit the opportunity to get the tagline at all costs in order to promote his career. A task similar to what Justine was previously so successful at. He reluctantly but doggedly pursues Justine throughout the wedding reception, pressuring her for the tagline. Eventually, Justine goes out and onto the sand trap and has sex with Tim. Unable to get the tagline from Justine, Tim is later fired for his professional failure. Finally reaching a breaking point, Justine resigns by telling Jack that he is a despicable, power-hungry little man and storming off. After several hours of being alienated from each other, Justine and Michael quietly agree to call off the marriage. Michael departs, leaving a severely depressed Justine isolated at the estate, with Claire and John furious at her. While storming back into the estate, a wedding planner tells Claire the total number of beans in a jar for a lottery that was held during the event. Early the following morning, while horseback riding with Claire, Justine notices Antares is no longer visible in the sky. All right, so you had all of this drama. So basically, at the beginning of the movie, John explains to this woman, all right. Okay, so right here, wedding estate. I have Justin takes a note. Okay, yeah, Justine. So John tells Justine that this star in the sky is named Antares, all right, and it belongs to the Scorpius constellation, all right. And after all this damn drama plays out, they notice that the star Antares is not visible in the sky anymore. And it's so crazy because just a few days ago, I broke down, okay, this was 7 days ago, I broke down how the Nibiru is really Sirius B, which is Potolo. All right. This entire paragraph on Instagram I wrote, the Nibiru that they're trying to get us to believe in, the planet Nibiru. There is no planet Nibiru. Planet Nibiru is really Sirius B in the sky. All right. Now, the Sirius star constellation is a trinary star constellation. It's a trinary star constellation. All right, which means you have a star orbiting around a star, and there's a star orbiting around those two stars. That's what the Sirius star constellation is. You have Sirius A, B, and C. Sirius C orbits around Sirius A. Sirius B orbits around Sirius A and Sirius C. All right. So if I was to draw this up, right? Okay, if I was to draw this up, Sirius A, B, and C. Let's see here. Sirius A, B, and C. All right. Now, Sirius A, B, and C. Is a trinary star system. I'm not sure if they actually have a picture of it on YouTube, but if you study, like I said, if you study the Dogon's teachings, all right, they'll tell you about Sirius A, B, and C. Now, the mainstream media really won't touch on Sirius C like that. You see, they won't touch on Sirius C, but they'll touch on Sirius A and B. C. So basically, Sirius B has disappeared from the night sky, all right? And I'm going to explain why Sirius B has disappeared from the night sky. All right? So basically, the Sirius B star is the so-called invisible star, and this has been stated by the Dogon tribe themselves. The Dogon tribe have already come out and stated that Sirius B, it fluctuates in and out of the third dimension. So what does this mean? This means the light being emitted from Sirius B, it vibrates. Sometimes it vibrates on a lower frequency. Sometimes the light vibrates on a higher frequency. When the light from Sirius B vibrates on a lower frequency, it is visible to the naked eye. When the light from Sirius B vibrates on a higher frequency, it breaks out of the light photon spectrum and it becomes invisible. All right. higher frequencies of light are not even visible with the naked eye, because the human eye can only see light that is trapped in the photon spectrum. What is the photon spectrum? The photons are tiny subatomic magnetic fields that trap light in it. And the magnetic fields give the light the illusion of matter. All right, it gives light the illusion and the density of matter. Let me repeat that. The only light that the human eye is able to see is light waves that have been trapped in tiny magnetic fields called photons. These tiny magnetic fields called photons, if light is vibrating on a lower frequency, the photons will encase that light, okay? And the magnetic field known as the photon will shape itself in a way where it gives that light the illusion of being matter. All right, and it gives that light the illusion of being dense matter. All right, and this is all over the physical universe. If light vibrates on a higher frequency than the photon spectrum, the photons won't be able to trap that light, and then we won't be able to see that light with our physical eye. All right, now if, like I said, if the light vibrates on a higher frequency, higher than the third dimensional spectrum, if it vibrates higher than the photon spectrum, the magnetic cubes won't be able to trap the light, and the light will be invisible to our naked eye. All right, and this is exactly what the Potolo star does. This is what Sirius B does on a consistent basis. Sirius B, known as Potolo, its light vibrates on a third dimensional frequency. Then the light vibrates on a fifth dimensional frequency. When it vibrates on a fifth dimensional frequency, we won't be able to see it. When it vibrates on a third dimensional frequency, we will be able to see it. And it has to do with the light waves from this star becoming trapped in the photons, in the light photons, all right? And the light from this star vibrating on a higher frequency, and when that happens, the light breaks out of the photons, and we won't be able to see the light from the star anymore. All right. So basically, this Sirius B star is literally vibrating in and out of the third dimension. It's vibrating in and out of the physical and spiritual world. I'm going to repeat that. That means Sirius B is vibrating in and out of the physical, spiritual worlds. All right, that's what this star is doing. Now, the Dogon already know about this. So what happened with me last year, all right, I noticed that I did not see the Sirius star in the sky. And see, the main Sirius star that we see is either Sirius A or Sirius B. All right, we see Sirius A and Sirius B as the Sirius star. We're not able to see Sirius C because Sirius C is so small. But so this is why the main star of Sirius that we see in the sky is either A or B. Now, I wasn't able to see Sirius A or B in the sky last year. So I was like, what the hell is going on? You know, why have I not seen the Sirius star in the sky for the past 3 to 4 months? And this was back last year. This was 2020. When I looked up at the night sky in Vegas back in 2020, I was not able to see the Sirius star. And I'm like, what? I was like, what the hell is going on? So it makes sense now, because you know what they want us to believe is Nibiru is actually Sirius A and Sirius B, the stars that go in and out of the photon spectrum that become invisible to the human eye and then back visible to the human eye again. So not only is the Sirius star becoming invisible and visible again, it's this star system, all right, this Sirius star system is actually part of Earth's solar system. Let me repeat that. This trinary star system is part of the Earth's solar system. All right, the Sirius star system is part of the sun's solar system as well. All right, the sun is the fourth star in the Sirius star system. Let me repeat that. The sun is the fourth star in the Sirius star system. All right, and every 26,000 years, Sirius A and Sirius B orbit in between the sun, all right, in between the sun and Mars. All right, when Sirius A and Sirius B, when they orbit in between sun and Mars, all right, this causes a massive magnetic shift on the Earth. All right, which causes a massive pole shift, huge temperature increases, and it also causes DNA upgrades for all sentient life on Earth. Let me repeat this very carefully. Earth, all right, and the sun, we are part of what is that called? A co-binary. It's called a co-binary star system. A co-binary star system, which means you have four stars in the solar system, in the constellation or the solar system. A 4-star solar system. So you have Sirius A, Sirius B, and then the star that orbits around Sirius A is Sirius C. All right. Now Sirius A and B, right, they're going to come in between the sun and Mars, which is going to be directly behind the Earth. And this is already taking place right now. Sometimes we're able to see the second sun. Sometimes we're not able to see it. Because once again, according to the Dogon, Sirius A and Sirius B are invisible to the human eye certain periods of the year. And other periods of the year, they're visible, which means they fluctuate in and out of the third and fifth dimensions. All right, because their frequency of light emission, it fluctuates. All right, from high vibration to low vibration. When the light from these stars is on a lower vibration, they become trapped in the photons, in the magnetic fields of photons. Okay, causing them to be visible to the human eye when they are not visible to the human eye. That's because the light is vibrating at such a high frequency, they are now able to break out of those magnetic fields called photons. All right, and that's the period of time where these stars become invisible to the human eye. All right, so every 26,000 years, Sirius A and Sirius B, they start to orbit in between Mars and the sun, which puts Sirius A and Sirius B behind Earth and in front of Mars. Also, all right, you'll also see Sirius A and Sirius B behind the sun. So periods of the year, you'll see Sirius A and Sirius B behind the sun. Other periods of the year, you'll see Sirius A and Sirius B in between Earth and Mars. All right, and it all depends on the fluctuation of light that's coming from these stars. If they're vibrating on a third dimensional frequency or if they're vibrating on a fifth dimensional frequency. All right, now I'm going to read to you exactly what I posted on Instagram so we can get a better understanding. All right, I said I've come to the realization that Nibiru is not some rogue star or planet. Nibiru is simply the Sirius star system. The second sun that's being photographed all over the world is in fact the Sirius B star. If you read the cosmology of the Dogon tribe, they state Sirius B vibrates on a frequency that causes it to shift in and out of third density. That means the energy of Sirius B vibrates on a frequency that's so high, its energy breaks out of the photon spectrum. This causes Sirius B to be invisible in the light photon spectrum. Then the energy of Sirius B starts fluctuating on lower frequencies, and when that happens, Sirius B's energy becomes trapped back in the photon spectrum, which makes Sirius B visible again. This is why the second sun is only visible during certain days of the year. The second sun is Sirius B, also known as Potolo. Mainstream science never told us Earth was part of a circumbinary solar system. So it's called a circumbinary star system when you have 4 stars in a solar system. That's called a circumbinary solar system. So that's what's going on here. You have Sirius A, Sirius B, Sirius C, and the sun. All right, the planet Saturn. The planet Saturn used to be the 4th star of Sirius, but Saturn fell into a gas planet, and the sun became the 4th star of the Sirius star system. All right. Okay, Saturn right here. Saturn used to be the 4th star of Sirius, but Saturn fell and the sun became the 4th star of Sirius. As crazy as this sounds, I've been looking at the night sky for months now, and I haven't been able to locate the Sirius star. I think the reason the Sirius star system is not in its normal place in the sky is because we're reaching the end of a 26,000 year cycle where the 3 stars of Sirius are moving near the 3 stars of Sirius. Let me see if I can get this back real quick. Okay. The 3 stars. Hold on. We're reaching the end of a 26,000 year cycle where the 3 stars of Sirius are moving near Earth's orbit. When this is finalized, only those operating on a 5th dimensional level will be able to leave third density for good. You'll also see people operating on a 5th dimensional frequency that get left behind in third density. But those people who are operating on the 5th dimensional frequency who got trapped in third density, they'll be able to receive immortal DNA just like the ancient gods. All right, which means that their lifespans will be increased by hundreds and hundreds, maybe even thousands of years. All right, everyone that doesn't reach 5th density, all right, that's operating on a 3rd dimensional frequency, they will be trapped in another 26,000 year reincarnation cycle. All right, now let me break this down, folks. All right, because this all makes sense. All right, I'm going to repeat myself. There is no Nibiru. Nibiru is Sirius A and Sirius B. All right, coming closer to the Earth. Also Sirius C coming closer to Earth's orbit, but we can't see it. All right, because just like the Dogon said, Sirius A and Sirius B, they vibrate in and out of the 3rd and 5th dimensions, which means sometimes they're visible, sometimes they're not. And they're also Sirius A and B and C, they're coming closer to Earth's orbit. All right, this is why the Sirius star is no longer in its original position. It's no longer in its usual position in the galaxy anymore. It's coming closer to the Earth. All right, Sirius A and Sirius B are part of the Earth's solar system. This is what astronomers and the so-called scientists have not told us, and they did it on purpose. They did not want us to know that Earth and the sun was part of a circumbinary star system. All right, where you have Sirius A, B, and C that come into close proximity of the Earth every 26,000 years. And what these Sirius stars do to the sentient life on Earth is the Sirius star upgrades our DNA. So not only do we have the sun, we're going to have 3 Sirius stars coming towards Earth. And I think when these Sirius stars are vibrating at a certain frequency, it's actually going to destroy the moon. I kid you not. I kid you not, folks. We're actually going to be seeing this stuff going into 2030. All right, and this is why the elites have underground bunkers, folks. If what I'm saying is bullshit, why have the elites spent billions and billions and trillions of dollars on stocking up stockpiles of food and buying underground bunkers? It's not because of nuclear warfare. It's because they know the humans on the surface are going to get DNA upgrades. We're going to get immortal DNA, and they know that we're gonna eventually come after them. All right, because of the havoc that they have caused on this earth, and they won't be able to do anything about it. You see, that's why they have the underground bunkers. They cannot cause nuclear warfare because most of their nuclear weapons have been deactivated by the Anunnaki. All right, and I've proven that last year through a Air Force general's own words, or an Air Force captain's own words. All right, now, folks, if you think what I'm saying is fairy tale bullshit, okay, I'm gonna say it again. And I'm going to show you the cold hard proof of what's going on. We are no longer able to see Sirius in the skies anymore. Now, how do you locate Sirius? What you do is when it's nighttime, you look up. This is if you're in the northern hemisphere. If you are in the northern hemisphere, what you do is you look up and you see the 3 stars of Orion. These are 3 stars that are diagonal. 3 stars, 3 big stars that are in a diagonal line with 4 big stars around it. That is the Orion star. So what you do is you locate Orion, and then you go down to your left. Wherever you are in the northern hemisphere, you go down to your left. All right, you go down to your left diagonally down. You go diagonally down to your left, and you see the Sirius star. This is how you locate Sirius when you're looking up at the night sky. Sirius is usually going to be down to your left, diagonally down to your left from the Orion star. And if you can't see Sirius, that means Sirius is no longer in its regular position, because Sirius is coming closer to Earth. It's coming closer to Earth, folks. All right, and I believe it's already in somewhere in Earth's solar system, possibly in between Saturn and Jupiter. That's why Saturn's rings are melting. All right, and even the weather on these other planets is going haywire, and the same thing is about to happen to the Earth. All right, and this is because of the 2 stars that vibrate in and out of the 5th dimensional, wavelengths are coming towards Earth. These 2 stars that vibrate on a interdimensional frequency. It's actually 3 stars, Sirius A, B, and C. They're coming in between Mars and the Earth. All right, one of them, Sirius A, B, or C, will also be behind the sun. So you have one behind the sun, and then you'll have 2 that come between Mars and Earth. When this happens, you're going to see massive pole shift. You're going to see massive earthquakes, tidal waves, and temperatures on the Earth are going to rise like they haven't in 26,000 years. And this is going to cause the original people of the Earth to receive DNA upgrades from the Sirius stars. All right, and like I said, this is exactly what happened in the Melancholia movie. This is exactly what happened. Now, see, the Melancholia movie was from the Caucasoid perspective. The Melancholia movie was depicting this, all right, but from a Caucasoid's perspective, from the perspective of someone who has no neuromelanin in their blood. All right, now, like I said, there are Caucasians out there that do have neuromelanin in their blood. About in between 18 and 20% of them do have the black dot and do have neuromelanin in their blood. All right, I'm not talking about those Caucasians. I'm talking about the Caucasians that have no neuromelanin in their blood. This movie, Melancholia, was from their perspective. All right, because this information is going to cause them to feel melancholy. It's going to cause them to feel melancholy, deep down, sad and depressed. You see what I'm saying? Because the melanated beings, heaven, all right, is the Nordics, is the Nordics hell. All right, that's the Nordics hell. The Nordics heaven is the carbonated beings hell. All right, now how can we prove this? The shit, they say the only pure thing that is pale is snow, right? But guess what? Snow is not even indigenous on this earth, because this earth was originally a tropical planet. The earth was originally a tropical planet, so not even the pale snow is not even indigenous to the earth. You see what I'm saying? And the colder weather is liked by people of Nordic descent. You see, because what is heaven to the Nordic is hell to the carbonated being, and what is heaven to the carbonated being is hell to the Nordic being. All right? And this is why, you know, when everybody who's operating on fifth dimensional frequencies, when we get our DNA upgrades, all right, after all this hot weather and all these catastrophes on the earth that destroy the illusion of capitalism, that's going to be the carbonated being's heaven, and that's going to be the Nordic person's hell. You understand? That's what melancholia is in a nutshell, man. Even the word melancholia. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So this is what it is. And now I'm going to show you guys the official nail in the coffin. It's over. It's done with. Just last year, scientists came out and stated that they have solved the first healthy human with 4 DNA strands. They have now come out and stated that they have officially observed a healthy human who grew an extra 2 DNA strands. Scientists officially came out last year and stated that they have now uncovered and observed the first healthy human that has grown an extra 2 DNA strands right here. Bingo. All right. July 20th of 2020, just a year ago. All right. So as we speak, all 3 Sirius stars and the sun are causing our DNA, all right, to have a shift. Okay, the light that is encapsulated in this DNA, it's starting to shift. The light inside of our DNA is starting to shift from 3rd density. It's starting to shift from a 3rd density into a 5th density, which means if it vibrates high enough, that is Merkaba activation, and you'll start to see people fucking just disappear out of here. You know, and they'll be disappearing onto the Sirius star system. I'm dead serious. And then you'll have people who reached the fifth dimensional frequency, but they weren't vibrating high enough to leave to the Sirius star system. So their DNA will still be on a fifth dimensional wavelength, but they'll still be on the earth, which means their lifespans, those people's lifespans, will be increased by hundreds or thousands of years. All right? And folks, this is what happens when you grow extra DNA strands. If you don't believe me, you do the damn research right here. Quadruple stranded DNA seen in healthy humans for the first time. For the so-called first time. But see here, this is proof positive that the DNA upgrades are on the earth right fucking now. It's right here. The world's most famous molecule, the DNA double helix, sometimes doubles up again. Researchers have now found this quadruple stranded form in healthy human cells for the first time. Four-stranded DNA has been seen before in some cancer cells and in lab-based chemistry experiments, but this is the first time the molecule has been visualized in healthy living human cells as a stable structure created by normal cellular processes. We've undoubtedly demonstrated that the quadruple stranded DNA forms in living cells, says Marco D. Antonio at Imperial College London. This forces us to rethink the whole biology of DNA. That's right, buddy. That's right. The DNA molecule is made up of 4 nucleobases: adenine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine, and can configure itself in a number of ways. It creates 4-stranded structure when 4 guanine bases form a square. Guanine is the only base able to bond with itself. So basically, folks, everybody listening, this right here occurred. This right here occurred, I believe, in someone who wasn't carbonated, so-called American black or so-called African black, so-called. This was not a heavily carbonated person. I think this was maybe from an Italian person or an Arab person, East Indian, or a white person who had some black in them down the line. This was not from a mostly carbonated person. All right? And let me explain, because it's already been proven that there is a large number of carbonated people who already have 6-strand DNA, 6-strand DNA, 8-strand DNA, 10 and 12-strand DNA. This has already been proven through some experiments that were done on heavily carbonated people. So there are already heavily carbonated people that are going from 6-strand DNA to 8-strand DNA, going from 8-strand DNA to 10-strand DNA, going from 10-strand DNA to 12-strand DNA. If you go to 12 or 13-strand DNA, you're not even going to exist in the third dimension anymore. If you go from 10-strand DNA to 12-strand DNA or 13-strand DNA, if you make that shift to 12 or 13-strand DNA, you're going to enact something called Merkabah activation, and you won't even exist in the third dimension anymore. You'll rise up to 5th density, 7th density if you hit the 12 to 13 strand of DNA. All right? So what's happening is the heavily melanated people, we're going from 4 strands to 6 strands, 6 strands to 8 strands, 8 strands to 10 strands. All right, you have some people who are on the 8-strand going up to the 10-strand, and if we go up to the 12, 13 strand, we won't even be able. We're out of here. You know what I'm saying? We're out. If that happens, we are out of the Yaldabaoth illusion. We are out of the goddamn Saturn Moon matrix. We're out of it. It's over. You know what I'm saying? We live forever in the realm of primordial sleep. All right. All right. And this is what the goddamn elites are trying to stop. Now, what is the best way to stop DNA upgrades? What is the best way to stop that? To keep the human light on lockdown. What's the best way to stop that? The JAB. The JAB. I'm not going to say the name, or else YouTube will completely take this video down, but you know what I'm talking about. The JAB. The JAB. That's what they want to hit us with, to completely stop our DNA from upgrading to God level, because soon as the DNA goes from 6 strands to 8 strands, soon as that DNA goes from 6 strands to 8 strands, it's over. You know, that individual is going to continue to pursue a godlike frequency. You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? And soon as that being goes from 10-strand DNA to 12-strand DNA, you won't even see that being with your visible eye in this spectrum anymore. And that's what they don't want. That's what the elites don't want. They want us trapped on lockdown so y'all Debalth and the jealous gods over religion can continue to harvest our life force and our light. They don't want us to get the light codes from the 3 stars of Sirius and the sun. You see, this is why they put chemtrails in the fucking sky, and they give us GMO foods. You see, and they promote things to poison us, like the poison meat and the alcohol and the cigarettes. It all stops our fucking DNA from upgrading, and the nail in the coffin for our DNA will be the JAB. If you receive the JAB, you can kiss this goodbye, and your ass will be trapped in this motherfucking material matrix, all right, for at least the next 3,000 to 6,000 years, at least. Okay, keep thinking it's a joke. But this is all I really had to say on my decode of Melancholia. This is very deep as far as the significance of the word Melancholia. Okay, the significance of the word and how the movie ties in to what is going on Earth right now. Okay? All right. So with all that being said, this is Melancholia-Decoded. I appreciate everyone who supports RFG and Atlantean movement. Shout out to all the Patreons out there. I would not be able to do what I do on a consistent basis if it wasn't for you guys. All right. Please give me a suggestion of any other movie, TV show, cartoon, or video game you want to see me decode, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. All right, peace and love. Stay safe out there. It's the Chosen One. I'm out.